Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Shiwei Liu. I'm with San Francisco Public Works, the Communications and Public Affairs team. My colleague Nikki Wu is with me today. We're going to facilitate this webinar. Just to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. And you can watch it later to go to our YouTube channel. The address is youtube.com/SF Public Works. So you can go there and then watch it again. So first of all, I would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight to learn and discuss our newly proposed mechanical street sweeping in the Russian Hill neighborhood. So Public Works actually received a petition from a group of residents from the Russian Hill neighbors. They actually started this petition and went out, collected signatures, and then sent us the petition. And after we reviewed and evaluated, we came up with this proposal that we're going to share with you in just a couple minutes. Before that, and we have a very brief speaking program. Just to let you know, if you have any questions, feel free to type your question in the Q&A or chat box, so then we can try to answer them, after our presentation. So we just, want to have a very brief speaking program. We have a couple of speakers here. So without taking too much time, I would like to introduce our first speaker, our Deputy Director, Ms. Dijeta Durden. She is in charge of our operations. So now she's here, and then let's just have Jada to say a few words. Jada, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say hello to District 2 and District 3, letting you know that you have a new Deputy Director for Operations. And my whole goal is to change the thoughts of how DPW is looked at. And I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I live in District 6. I've worked for Public Works for 19 years, and I'm committed to change throughout our city and doing as much as we can with what we can do. I started, when I first started, this petition was going on, and I'm happy that it's been in place, been put in place. And I want to thank Russian Hill Neighborhood Homeowners Association, the community, District 2 and 3, Catherine Stefani, Aaron Peskin for supporting this and helping get the message out. I think it's a good move in the neighborhood. And just listen to my staff and what the next move is. Go ahead, Peter.
Thanks, Jada. Good evening, everyone. My name is Peter Lau. I'm the superintendent for the Bureau of Street Environmental Services with the San Francisco Public Works Department. The Bureau of Street Environmental Services, or BSES for short, is responsible for the cleaning of the city's streets and curbs using manual cleaning work crews and mechanical street sweepers, the latter being the most efficient and also performing a bulk of the cleaning work for the city. To successfully sweep our streets, residents typically have to move their cars, and properties must make sure that any trees in front of their homes are trimmed up to 14 feet. We clean about 90% of San Francisco streets with mechanical sweepers, covering about 150,000 curb miles. We remove about 25,000 tons of litter and debris every year. Generally, we sweep the residential streets weekly or twice a month, and we sweep commercial areas at least once per week. Some locations are even swept daily. Mechanical sweepers remove litter from our neighborhoods and shopping corridors, and also prevent grime and pollutants from entering the city's combined sewer system, and therefore reduces the amount of pollutants entering the cities into the San Francisco Bay and also into the Pacific Ocean. Before I hand it off, I do want to acknowledge Phoebe Douglas for starting the conversation on this initiative, and also helping push the request through the city's bureaucracy. We appreciate constituents like you that show such civic pride in trying to keep our city clean and safe for the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Now we have Emily from the District 2 Supervisor's Office. So Emily, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Hi, sorry, just getting unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Emily Abraham, work in Supervisor Stephanie's office. It is great to see the community come together around this issue, and happy to be here and looking forward to hearing everyone's feedback, their questions, and to learn a bit more about this new proposed schedule. So thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Emily. And then Sarah, you're up from District 3 Supervisor Aaron Peskin's office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here, joined by community members. First and foremost, I do work for Supervisor Peskin for a year already, and I have been part of multiple neighborhood cleanups along with my colleagues. But again, first and foremost, I want to thank the Russian Hill neighbors and Phoebe Douglas for organizing this petition on this important issue. Supervisor Peskin's working on an ongoing basis with Public Works to assess mechanical street sweeping more broadly, particular to the extent to which shared spaces have made mechanical street sweeping not possible in certain blocks. So Supervisor Peskin is committed to continue working with the community members and ensuring that we have clean streets. As a matter of fact, he issued a memo, a clean and green proposal that you can find on our website, and I'm more than glad to send that along as well. But please contact our office with additional feedback. We look forward to working with you and supporting your efforts. And on behalf of Supervisor Peskin, thank you so much for your leadership on this issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Okay, so now that concludes our brief speaking program. So now I'm going to turn the mic to Sean Lan, our mechanical sweeping manager, who is the expert in this field. And then he's going to give us the presentation of our newly proposed mechanical street sweeping program in Russian Hill neighborhood. So Sean, here you are.
Thank you, everyone. Actually, Shiwei, can you tell me how many people we have viewing?
We have about 30 people now.
Excellent. All right. Well, I apologize, but I'm going to read a script I wrote for myself because I want this information to flow, and listen to this. Good evening. My name is Sean Lang with San Francisco Public Works, Bureau of Street Environmental Services. Thank you for attending this meeting and expressing your opinion concerning the 6.5 blocks of street cleaning being added to Russian Hill. More citizens are speaking up to their district supervisors and public works about the need for cleaning up and maintaining San Francisco to a higher level of service. Utilizing 311 on the telephone is a good way to notify us. Another way to contact Public Works is suggestions@sfdpw.org. I would like to briefly share some history and explain why we do not sweep some areas such as Russian Hill, North Beach, Nob Hill area. Approximately 40 years ago, when the street cleaning program was instigated in the 1980s by San Francisco Department of Public Works, there was great opposition from the constituents of North Beach, Russian Hill, and Nob Hill area to motorized street sweeping. I think this is because people did not want to move their cars and risk a ticket. It is because of this opposition that San Francisco Public Works to this day does not presently sweep approximately 500 streets, a street being one side, corner to corner. All right, and then attached photo showing a shaded section right there. That's the North Beach, Russian Hill, Nob Hill area. It's approximately 142 blocks. It's excluded from our regular sweeping service. Within the shaded area, main business corridors have been swept regularly, and some streets have been added by petition for a total of about 90 block faces swept weekly or twice per month. So let me tell you why we sweep with truck-mounted street sweepers. The mechanical street sweeping program is in place in San Francisco for everyone. It is the most effective and economically efficient method to remove roadway pollutants. In fiscal year 2021, more than 21 million pounds of debris were removed with our fleet. The reason we sweep is one reason is appearance. Street sweeping for debris and trash removal is an important reflection on a community's environment and a good public works practice to maintain proper infrastructure and operating efficiency. Another reason is safety. Street sweeping is conducted to reduce safety hazards to the traveling public, meaning pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicular traffic. Also, our air and water. Street sweeping can be a valuable best maintenance practice for air and water quality by removing fine particulates of phosphorus and nitrogen that pollute our waterways and ecology. Sweep the streets of San Francisco. Vehicle removal is perhaps the most critical component in doing a good job of sweeping. Remember, for every car left in place, you essentially lose sweeper pollutant removal potential for a total of 3 car lengths. That's the space needed by a sweeper to swing around the car and get back to the curb line. So the best way to make vehicle removal requirements as painless as possible is to get the local community know the important move to enable sweep. After all, it's for everyone's safety, health, and security. I also want to explain to you how Bureau of Street Environmental Services, BSES, has developed what streets are getting mechanically swept in this Russian Hill, North Beach, Nob Hill area. We've always swept main corridors like Columbus and Broadway. And additions in the last 5 years were instigated by petition from residents and business owners in the neighborhoods who desire maintained safe streets. We try to accommodate all petitions from all over the city, and if possible, but it is difficult because of factors such as staff, equipment, scheduling, funding, other factors. We have limited resources and cannot realistically accommodate all requests. For on this case, we can't talk at Route 19, the first and third day of the month. So it's like 2 weeks a month is Route 19. We've added streets in the past to neighboring sweeper Route 19. It's the marina, but it should no longer accept additional workload because it's getting sort of full. Tonight, we are here to gather public opinion on the recent proposal consisting of 6.5 blocks of streets to be swept. These 6.5 blocks would have signs installed stating a street cleaning parking restriction that would be either the first or the third Wednesday from 12 p.m., that's noon, to 2 p.m. And the locations are as follows: Jones from Grove to Green, the east side; Jones from Green to Union, the east side; Jones from Union to Filbert, east side. That would be on the first Wednesday from 12 to 2. Also on the first Wednesday from 12 to 2 would be Taylor from Union to Green on the west side. Now on the third Wednesday, we could do Jones from Green to Vallejo, west side, and Filbert from Larkin to Polk, north side. These are what we're petitioned for, and we can accommodate. The route we developed to cover these 6.5 blocks also includes blocks that are no parking on one side along the way. So we actually can sweep 8.5 blocks on the first Wednesday and 7 blocks on the third Wednesday. So we'll be able to get some stuff done. There's no denying the need for cleaning and sweeping and developing an improved maintenance schedule for this iconic area of San Francisco. BSES realizes it will have to adapt to changing times. The question at hand concerning this Russian Hill, North Beach, Nob Hill area is how is Public Works to proceed and accomplish the task of maintaining the streets? Do we sweep every block every week or once per month? Or perhaps we sweep only the dirtiest streets once a month, twice a month? How about business areas or parks? How about the tourist areas? Public Works works for you. Good stewardship is required. And stewardship is an ethic that embodies the responsible planning and management of resources. That's what we want to do. Therefore, BSES needs to define a clear goal on maintaining Russian Hill, North Beach, and Nob Hill. So Public Works needs to hear what the public wants. We're starting right now actually with this Zoom meeting, but you could also email suggestions@sfdpw.org and tell us what you think. So thank you for the opportunity to speak and share that with you. Now I'd like to pass it back to the panel, then I'll be available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean, for your presentation. And then I hope that, it's very clear about our, plan, like what we're going to do for the newly proposed plan. We do have a couple, now it's our Q&A session, and then feel free to ask your questions, in the chat box, and then we will try to answer them as much as we can. We do have a question about the trash cans. Who empties the trash containers when provided, and how can we get more? So maybe Peter, you can answer this one.
Sure. So first part of the question is who services the trash cans? Currently, we're contracted with Recology to service all city-owned cans. They service cans. Frequency can be either daily, sometimes even 3 times a day, depending on the location. As far as requests for removals, relocations, or additional cans, you can send the request through the suggestion email, and then our staff can review the proposal and respond back accordingly.
Yeah, there's kind of like a follow-up question is kind of related to Recology too. And then, residents saying like, why Recology always leave like a lot of trash behind when they come by the neighborhood. So is there any way we have some kind of communication with them about this?
So yeah, we have routine meetings with Recology management to address issues just like this. Our staff noticed the same thing, and we bring it up with their management to address, because their drivers are responsible for not only servicing cans but also sweeping around the immediate area. So if there's any concerns regarding the servicing of city cans and leaving of debris, please email again the DPW suggestions email for now, and we'll definitely follow up and look into the concerns. This also goes for toters and also any sort of commercial bins, the roll-off bins. Recology is responsible for not leaving any sort of mess behind.
Okay, so we have another question. It's more about like a parking issue. The time of day seems optimal for finding alternative parking for those areas. The question is, how were the designated streets selected?
The streets were requested through the petition, is my understanding. We decided upon the timing based on the available routes that we were able to tap into. And again, just trying to minimize the disruption to the residents by not having them move their cars in an inconvenient time. Sean can definitely chime in because he was the one who helped develop the route.
John, you're mute.
Yeah, actually, this came up and we tried to fit it in where we could. We have routes that have been in place for many years, and it's so difficult to try to slip in additional blocks. And we fit it in where we could. We don't have that many resources. We're already adding blocks to a already long, far away route. It's we don't want to add any more, because then it will start impacting the route negatively, meaning that the broom can, the more we add, the more it's likely to fill up during fall, the worst season. And also with traffic increases lately, the broom will be wanting to hurry up to get done because he'll be falling behind. It's already a long route and we're making it longer, but we're trying to accommodate the public. And so we fit it in for where we could.
Okay, and the next question is, what are the necessary steps to go from the proposal to implementation and start the mechanical street sweeping?
Well, the proposal will come to us, but we have to evaluate it. And there's lots of factors. A lot of people just want to change street cleaning tonight, but a lot of places we can't just sweep at night in front of residential areas and stuff like that. The system's been in place for many years and it's quite complex. We have about like 25 routes that are going out, and they all overlap, and it's incredibly complex. We can't just take a whole section, say like a whole area like the Richmond district. We can't just say no parking in the Richmond district and we'll sweep everything. We have to do, what we do is we sweep the business areas in the morning where before the businesses open up. And then we switch to residential around 8 o'clock. At night, they're hitting all the big main corridors like Market Street and 3rd Street. And so it's quite a involved system, and it's difficult to change. But we can do it sometimes. And we do, as I said earlier, we try to accommodate. You know, we know who we work for. We work for the public, and we're trying to please everybody, but it's hard to please everybody. That's all I have to say about that. Hello? Oh, I can't hear.
It looked like Shiwei got kicked off. So we'll.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Okay. So the next question we have is the half block of Jones West Side from Vallejo to Glover is an odd omission. Is that on purpose, or what is the reasoning behind that? Oh, Sean, you're on mute.
The reason we want to start at the beginning. If we come mid-block, we're going to miss stuff, and cars will be parked there. It's just better to have a clean run with a sweeper. Not good?
So along those lines, do we know what areas are frequently called into 311 to be sure those areas are included?
We get a lot of 311 complaints, and and so it's difficult to organize that. However, from all that we've gathered, it's more of a collective thing. Like, we know where the hotspots are. Previous supervisors for District 2 and District 3 have come forth to Public Works in the past with issues and suggestions and lists of what streets they want swept. And also, from my experience, you know, I swept out in the North Beach area for 2.5 years, and there some blocks are dirtier than others, and it wouldn't be too difficult for us to go out there and figure out which the bad ones are. I think an option or thing that one of the factors is frequency of sweeping. It's strange, this whole North Beach area and Russian Hill, Nob Hill, they haven't been swept in years. And, you know, if we were to start sweeping, I would start slow, you know, once a month or twice a month, you know, and see what happens. But I believe in street sweeping. It is a powerful tool. I mean, it's amazing how much material we pick up in a single pass, and maintaining it promotes a cleaner sidewalk, you know, and it also promotes cars moving. You know, a lot of people, you know, I think the law is like 72 hours, and that's, people park for way longer than that. That's sort of an unseen, a forgotten benefit of sweeping, is it's sort of forcing cars to move, so they just don't park there for a month.
Thanks, Sean. Another question is, how can we get a similar program to increase street cleaning on Union Street? This heavily trafficked street with bus, cars, and pedestrians is often in need of street cleaning.
Talk to us, send an email to suggestions at the DPW, SFDPW, because yeah, I know Union's bad. A lot of spots, Lombard going up to Coit Tower, it's crazy. And we have lists from Aaron Peskin's office. We have we have a lot of 311 stacked up of people saying, I want this swept, I want that swept. I haven't compiled that and made a database of like what people want, but I have quite a few, you know, 3 inches worth of paper of 311. You know, people want it swept. But then what happens is some people are opposed to it, just like 40 years ago. So what do we do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I just want to clean up the city.
The next question is regarding scheduling. How did we select every other week rather than every week?
It's really just fitting it in. We don't have, if we are going to really get serious about cleaning the North Beach, Russian Hill Nob Hill area. We need funding for an additional driver and an additional sweeper, and we need to make a route. And that we can accommodate quite a bit with that. And but right now we're adding on to a neighboring route, and that's what we've been doing to Route 19. Route 19's absorbed I'd have to count, but it's quite a few blocks. I'd say, probably like 40 blocks it's absorbed. That cuts into his time or her time on doing Route 19. So what do? You go a little faster, and then our level of service drops, and safety becomes an issue too. We can't keep on adding to 19. If my dream came true of adding a route to cover the Nob Hill, Russian Hill, North Beach area, I would absorb what we gave 19. I would take it back so Route 19 could focus on its area and improve the level of service there.
Thanks, Sean. This next question is for Emily or Sarah from Supervisor's Office. How do we get involved in petitions or involved in neighborhood programs such as this? Because they haven't heard of these types of petitions until recently. So how to get involved with the community?
I'm happy to jump in. Great. So you're welcome to reach out to the supervisor's office, whether you live in District 2 or District 3. I'm sure myself or Sarah's happy to connect you there are quite a lot of local merchant associations, homeowner associations, neighborhood groups. There are also groups that are, like Friends of Alta Plaza Park that work on just cleaning up their local community. So depending on what you're interested in, if you do want to clean up yourself, if you want to be a part of a larger group who can, help build these petitions, happy to point you to those websites that exist, or, same as with DPW, if you have a specific suggestion, we do always monitor our emails, our phones, so please don't hesitate to reach out with any suggestions, and we can put you in the right direction and do the best we can to get those issues addressed.
Thank you, Emily. The next question is, can the city perform manual cleaning instead of mechanical sweeping? It's hard to move cars and find parking in our neighborhood. So maybe Peter or Sean, this could go to you.
Sure, I can jump on that one. So unfortunately, manual sweeping is not feasible, especially around parked cars. I don't know, Nikki, if you can throw a photo up of the area that we're actually proposing to do the sweeping, but you'd see that the cars parked pretty tight along the curb and pretty close next to each other. So it's really hard to clean between cars and underneath the cars. Again, the most efficient way and most practical way is for the cars to kind of move out of the way for the mechanical sweeper to pass through.
Thanks, Peter. Sean, anything to add on?
Street sweeping is a proven method. It's the most cost-effective and efficient method there is. You could put people out there, and we put out people that manually clean, and it's just inefficient. It's like, if you were going to clean your driveway, would you move the car first? Yes, you would. It's almost impossible to clean it well with the car in the way. It's simple. And we don't want to damage any vehicles with, a shovel and a broom,
Thank you.
That's it. That's all I have for that.
So one other question is there any other way other than petitions to do mechanical sweeping more systematically rather than through petitions such as this?
I'll jump in on that one real quick, and then Sean, you can chime in. Petitions are the best way to kind of canvass the affected properties, just to kind of get a consensus on whether the neighborhood is for or against the proposal. So I know it's old school that we need to go knocking on doors to get signatures and that sort of thing, but that is the best way to get full buy-in from the neighborhood on any sort of changes, because it does affect the available parking and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd agree with Peter on that.
So it looks like some people want to help. So what can we do to assist Public Works in getting the mayor to add another truck?
So, yeah, I mean, I would say start with the your district supervisor's office to kind of bring up that suggestion, and then typically it kind of goes through the bureaucratic ladder in requesting additional funding for the next budget cycle. But yeah, I mean, we definitely would appreciate the support because as Sean mentioned, we are stretched pretty thin as far as resources, and we would love to be able to sweep weekly to try to keep the streets of San Francisco as clean as possible.
Okay, so there's one here from Richard.
I got something to add to that.
Okay, go ahead, John.
I'd like to add on what Peter was saying. BSES has been cut in the past. They reduced sweeping from weekly sweeping down to first and third and second and fourth day of the month. The street sweeping routes were designed around the capability of our Tempo 600. We have like 50 of them, and they can work really well. Going to first and third and second and fourth seriously reduced service. It hampered us. Our brooms are filling up before lunchtime, especially during fall. If San Francisco is going to get serious about street cleaning, they need to talk to Peter and BSES management, and we know what to do. We know where our shortfalls are. We know how to improve, and we could be way more efficient. And you know what? We are making steps towards it. We've been purchasing some new equipment, and it's enabling us to provide better service. It's as simple as that. There's a couple other things, but that's for BSES to share with the mayor's office. You know, we got a plan. We just need a little bit of funding. And we were cut in the past. We need to be reached to a good level, and Peter can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. So another question here is about partnering with contractors or limiting permitting with contractors so that they could accommodate the residents finding parking. And also, a resident is noticing that contractors are putting no parking A-frames for a whole block or two for their work. Is there any way we could do a once a year cleaning of highly visible and highly trashed streets like Hyde Street?
I like that idea.
Yeah. As far as the parking permits, I mean, that's out of our purview. That's typically through MTA or BSM, the Bureau of Street Use and Mapping, that administers the parking permits. But as far as the community cleanups, yeah, we are all for that. We're actually doing weekly cleanings as an initiative from the mayor's office. They provided funding where we're doing what was called the Clean Corridors program. We clean up about 10 blocks within. We kind of go around the different districts and clean along the major corridors. Our crew spends 8 hours a day cleaning and deep cleaning. So if there's any suggestions to that initiative, we're definitely for it, and definitely will consider scheduling any sort of routes that are being suggested. I also want to plug our Adopt a Street program, which is run through Public Works, our community outreach program. It's a program where we provide residents who want to maintain their blocks, their streets, with the appropriate tools and supplies and bags. And all you have to do is fill up the bag and then leave it on the corner, call 311, and we'll have one of our personnel come by and pick it up.
I like the idea. I like the idea of community and blocks clearing out the cars for and we can have a sweeper come by. Right now we're thin. We definitely need somebody, some more employees, but that might be an effective way to deal with the North Beach, Russian Hill, Nob Hill thing. If we could get people to buy into that and like, hey, we're going to move our cars once a year and you guys come through, that'd be great. Sounds very satisfying to me, cleaning up the city.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Peter. So our last question here is maybe for Peter or Dejada. What will be the next step after tonight's meeting?
So the next step would be, because I believe we've already received a petition with, I believe, a majority vote for the proposal. Next step is to engage with MTA to start the process on making the signage, the regulated street parking, and typically takes about 2 months for them to kind of make the signs and install the new signs. And there is Sean, just let me know exactly what the notification is. I believe they give the affected residents a couple of weeks heads up, letting them know that the regulated street sweeping and enforcement is upcoming. But yeah, typically about 2 month process.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct.
And just before I hand it back over to Shiwei, just one note is that Richard Manso, who asked the question about the A-frames and that suggestion, he is willing to have a conversation with both Peter and Sean about how to proceed from there. So about the parking and volunteering with the city.
Look forward to talking to him.
So Shiwei, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'm so sorry. I just all of a sudden got disconnected. Finally, I got back in, and then I think that concludes our webinar today. And we tried our best to answer all your questions. But if you still have comments or questions that you want to send to us, you can send to us to the email suggestions@sfdpw.org. And then as Peter just mentioned that, we will start the process next step, to coordinate this with MTA to put up the signs and stuff like that. And then so just watch out the signs, maybe 2 months from now. So I think that's pretty much it. And if anybody has more comments to make, if not, then thank you very much for everybody to come here and join us and share your thoughts. And we really appreciate that. And thank you so much. And this concludes our webinar, and have a very nice evening. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.